And now it's time for our famous segment of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Goodness. Now, you watched this last night. You asked me if I wanted to watch it with you.
Yeah.
I was
and
really
you laughed.
tired.
And you laughed at me. That's how much Christine wants to watch these things.
I'll only watch the good ones.
So,
you have to watch. You have to be my guinea pig.
Have you watched
first.
any of the ones I've suggested so far?
I put on one for our daughter, the one with the aliens when they took over Chakotay and made him in a coma. But I didn't actually watch it. I had to go do things, and she watched it.
Okay, season 2, episode 6 is called Twisted. This one was alright.
Okay.
This one was alright. It starts off with your favorite character, Cass.
Oh,
goodness. So, birthday girl Cass is walking down the corridor. Where's she going? She walks into a room. It's the holodeck, of course.
Right.
So she's in the French bar that they love going to. But it's dark and creepy. Is something going wrong on the holodeck? No, it's a surprise birthday party. Yay! Most of the characters are there.
For her, it means just she's getting closer to death, for God's sake.
So she's turned 2.
Don't they only live like 7 years?
Yeah, something like that. So she's turned 2. Okay, and we already saw in another episode she went through her heat reproductive cycle. That was gross. Okay, so they're hanging out in the holodeck. They're having fun. And then it cuts to the bridge. Who's in charge? The most boring guy around, Tuvok. And he is incredibly wooden and boring in this episode.
I think Harry Kim is way more boring.
And he's there on the bridge too.
Oh, great.
So Tuvok's just sitting there being boring, not saying anything. And Harry Kim's like, "Sir, I got this done. I got all these things recalibrated." He's trying to be a brown noser.
Yes, because he is.
And then Tuvok's giving him shit. He's like, "Hey, I know why you're doing all this stuff. It's because you want to go to the party on the holodeck." And he's like, Kim's, yeah. Okay. Tuvok, what does Tuvok say? "Well, Ensign, you still got another 34 minutes left on your shift. So you better stay put." So he's just being a dick. Then he says, "However, I think in the last 34 minutes, the holodeck emitters could use an inspection."
Oh. So he's being cool, Tuvok.
So he runs. So Harry starts running off. And then suddenly Tuvok's like, "Halt!" They halt the ship. He's not yelling at Harry Kim.
Oh, I thought he was saying,
okay?
Halt!
So they have to halt the ship. Okay? And Harry Kim has to stop too.
Like, falls forward.
They've come across like some green energy distortion wave. It's like a green blob in space. God, so he stops. Okay, don't get any closer to it. So that's the right move,
smart.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So they're like, "Okay, Kim, get back to your station." I want to get drunk.
But then everyone had to. The party was over, I suppose. Well, Cass doesn't really do
what
much.
does he do? He's like, "Okay, we don't know what's going on. Notify." So he calls the captain. So they're talking to the captain, and suddenly the communications goes out. Darn.
Oh,
so they can't communicate.
Energies.
Okay. Oh, so he's like, "Okay, Kim, reverse all thrusters, full back." Nope, can't do that. Energy wave is disrupted their thing.
Them.
So he's like, crap. And he can't get a hold of the captain. So what does he do? He's like, "Okay, shields up. Okay. And we're going to fly through it." Okay. Oh. I think they do that later.
Out.
So because he can't get in touch with the captain, he's like, "Kim, you're a runner. Go down, find the captain, get her to the bridge."
So he gets to go to the party.
So he leaves, goes back to the party. And so they've got this communication, and they're like, "Okay, what's going on?" So B'Elanna's taking apart the holodeck, trying to get the communications to work.
Right.
She can't get it to work. She don't know what she's doing, right? We've seen that before.
Know the science.
So they're all like, "Okay, we're dividing up into teams. You're going to engineering. We're going to the bridge. Neelix and Cass, piss off because they're useless." Good. So Neelix goes to take Cass back to her quarters, right?
Right, for some cake.
Apparently they don't live together.
So
I thought
weird.
they're supposed to be this romantic couple.
It's just weird with those characters.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So B'Elanna can't get to engineering. And Harry Kim, on his way to the holodeck, runs into some security officer. Let's call him Ensign Nicky.
He's going to get killed.
I don't know what his name is. I'm just calling him Ensign Nicky, right? So he makes a few appearances.
Oh.
So Harry Kim can't get to the holodeck at first. B'Elanna can't get to engineering.
Are they lost, or they just can't get
Janeway,
to the doors?
Okay. Janeway with her big hair still.
Yes.
Plus main man Chakotay.
Okay.
Plus pretty boy
Tom
Paris. Oh, I forgot to mention, Tom Paris gives Kes a very nice locket for her birthday, which is a little inappropriate. And Neelix almost throws a hissy fit, but he stops himself and he's like all congratulating himself.
I think he should.
But it's a little inappropriate on Paris's thing, and I think and we've seen this before. I think they're saying it up. They're gonna fight over her because Paris can't keep it in his pants. He's hitting on all the ladies on the ship.
Fabulous.
I guess.
With all her sweating.
He likes blondes. We do see her sweating and gross a lot in the show.
Blonde. Anyway.
So that happened earlier. But now they can't get anywhere, so the three of them, Janeway, Chakotay, and Paris, are in the turbo lift.
Right.
And it keeps stopping.
Can they not walk? Use the ladders?
No. They keep trying to get to the bridge, but it keeps taking them to different floors. They're like, what's going on here? And no one can get where they're going. So what's going on here,
you
right?
Gotta use the Jeffries.
And a lot of times they keep ending up back at the holodeck.
Oh.
So apparently the holodeck is not affected by this.
Maybe it is all holodeck.
So Tuvok, he takes he's like, okay, if we can't go back, the only logical explanation is we have to go through it, and I want it to be as short as possible. Raise the shields, warp 4, let's go. Nope.
Warp 4, that's not very fast.
Doesn't matter, he just wants to fly through it.
Okay.
Let's get through this crap, right?
Okay.
I'm done with this, but he can't do that. So all the crew members are wandering around, they can't get where they're going, so they're like in a fun house, I guess.
Right.
And you know what happens? Tuvok leaves the bridge, and then he's lost with them too. And at one point, Chakotay gets stuck with Neelix at one point.
Oh, God.
Okay, Janeway assigns him, and she turns to him, is that all right, Commander? And he's like, oh. He doesn't even say anything, but you can tell he's like, not this guy. God damn it.
People are irritated by them on this ship.
So sick of them.
So irritated.
Right? So, but then at one point, the two of them, Chakotay and Neelix, run into Tuvok because Tuvok left the bridge. Idiot. That's a dumb thing to do. Because none of them can get to the bridge.
Nobody's on the bridge now.
But then Neelix walks off, and then he's lost.
Why are they? Is it foggy on the ship? Where are they getting lost?
At one point, Tuvok and Chakotay are arguing because they're still together about which way to go.
Right.
And Chakotay keeps giving them shit this whole episode. He's like, listen, stop countermanding and questioning my orders. Because Janeway gets injured, at one point.
Right.
She's crawling through the Jeffrey tubes with Kim.
She did crawl the Jeffrey tubes.
With Kim. And they run into this energy distortion in the ship, and her hand gets sucked into it. And it's all weird and stretched out and everything. And then it goes back, and she's back in the holodeck, and she's talking gibberish.
Transporter.
So she's gone crazy.
Oh.
So Chakotay takes charge. Tuvok keeps disagreeing with his orders and saying we should do this, this, and this. Chakotay gets mad at him, gives him shit. He's like, listen, she's out of commission for right now. I'm in charge. You do what I tell you to do, and don't give me a hard time. Right. And Tuvok's just very well.
You must have liked that. Your Chakotay there, putting the gears to Tuvok.
Tuvok's just so boring. He just stands there.
It's so Vulcan. Mr. Spock was never boring, though.
Anyway, so they keep trying to do all these things, and what they discover is this energy distortion is twisting and warping the ship.
Obviously.
Weird. And so that...
Different dimensions are involved or something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So that means that every time they go down a corridor, the ship itself shifts and they end up going somewhere else and they can't get anywhere. Which makes no bloody sense.
Split in two or anything.
Exactly. It makes no bloody sense. And it's the holodeck on deck 6, because apparently it's in the middle of the ship, that's not really affected until the end. And they keep trying all these different things. The Doctor makes a funny appearance because he's in the holodeck, and the French barmaid is constantly hitting on him.
Oh.
Okay? And just wants him to make sweet love to her. I'm like, wow, this is a horny French blonde woman there. Okay? Sure. I don't know.
Weird.
Anyway, so he's pissed off the whole time about this.
Right.
Eventually what happens is they keep trying to do all these different things and they keep failing. So eventually what happens is they're like, okay, Tuvok says, okay, we'll just do nothing, because that makes logical sense.
Right.
So then they're all sitting there, the ones that are left, because Neelix is lost already, and we haven't seen him, so screw him. And they're all just sitting there waiting for this cloud energy distortion to
dissipate?
and we could die.
Right.
And they just start freaking out, right? And eventually it engulfs them all and the whole ship and everything's fine.
Oh, so Tuvok was right, and Chakotay should have listened to him, because he's smart. But still, they don't have a science person.
Anyway, it was okay. It was an alright episode there, but, and then they find Neelix at the end, he's fine. I'm like, yay. But it was funny watching Chakotay. He's like, God damn it, I gotta deal with this guy. Because who would want to deal with Neelix?
I know. So they not realize. I know, and it's nothing against the actor. He's really funny.
No, Ethan Phillips. He's a nice guy.
They made an irritating character.
Okay, and that was another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.